the clarity that's specifically required now that the regulations have seen, let's say, overall of sorts. Both of you alluded to some of the, circulars that could be currently operative, but there are 50 plus of them. Richie, any immediate clarifications that SEBI needs to put out for the FPIs to basically either relook at their business models, their investments, their current positions, etc.?
See, I think an interesting circular that had come out last year was around allowing private banks, stockbrokers on a global basis to set up structures and trade in India on behalf of their clients. A little conservative, but SEBI did insist and required that those structures be broad-based to begin with, and also they track a homogenized pool of assets for each such broad-based structure that they're setting up. This, I think the committee had also recommended, was a little harsh ask. I think now that the regulations have done away with the broad-based criteria, there is definitely possibility for every individual investor to track a unique portfolio for themselves. So the new regulations sort of only say as much that these regulated service providers, brokers and private banks can now operate these structures as FPIs. They have not indicated that there could be restrictions or there could be more rules coming this way. So again, going back to the earlier point that I was making, I hope that the previous circular are dropped, and accordingly these structures need not be broad-based or homogenized portfolio tracking mechanisms. I think that was one. The second piece, I think, which would definitely impact a few constituents could be the underlying investments that an ODI can track. I think we focused earlier in this segment on who are eligible to subscribe and issue ODIs. But I think where there has been a lot of movement has also been what are the eligible underlying instruments on which an ODI can be sort of issued. Now, again, a couple of years back, SEBI had come out with a restriction that the underlying could be derivatives if it is only to hedge an open position, that too on a one-on-one basis, and so on and so forth. I think right now the regulations are silent. They only say that an ODI can be issued on any valid security that an FPI is sort of holding and hedging it. Remains to be seen that what circular will apply. Will the earlier circular apply, or would SEBI come out with a more unique set of underlying instruments that would be eligible? I think these two are other aspects which could impact a lot of businesses that revolve around the FPI regime.
Okay, Divaspati, you want to add to the list?
No, definitely. I think apart from these two, what also needs to be borne in mind is the list of other circulars and other regulators who have tagged between Cat 1 and 2 and 3 in the erstwhile regime. Now, under the new set of guidelines and new set of categorizations, how a lot of those regulations would pan out is something which we'll need to see.
And the biggest, I think, among them would be based on the categories that you mentioned, that whether the KYC requirements for those who have gone from Cat 3 to Cat 2 will come down, or for category who were always in Category 2 but now have been clubbed with Cat 3, will the KYC requirements for those go up?
No, absolutely. I think that will be an easier fix because we're anyways hoping to see the new set of operating guidelines coming out in the next couple of days. So the entire KYC framework is going to be clarified there. So, but how the other set of rules and regulations are going to apply, maybe SEBI is going to come up with either a consolidated set of guidelines or new set of regulations on that, or even the Reserve Bank or for the tax department for that matter.
Sure.
So how these new laws are going to apply in the new categorization is something which we wait to see.